Okay, so there's a Philadelphia Eagle new offseason addition that could find himself off the roster by losing his job to a rookie. Meanwhile, the Dallas Cowboys just made a blockbuster trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers, which looks good on paper, but could easily backfire, especially with this new report. But that's not all. Howie Roseman and the Eagles might have just made their best move on offense this whole offseason. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. If you rock with our Philadelphia Eagles, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the videos. So yesterday we talked about the Philadelphia Eagles being linked to wide receiver Amari Cooper. I said it's ridiculous. There's no reason why the Eagles need to invest more capital in a wide receiver, even if it's dirt cheap. If the Eagles are going to address the offensive side, it got to be the tight end position. What are we going to do with Dallas Goedert? Which was just answered. Jeff McClain was the first to tweet, Eagles and Dallas Goedert have in essence agreed on the rework deal, a restructure of his one-year contract that decreases 14.25 mil to 10 mil, with up to possible 1 mil in incentives, which I absolutely believe this was the best case scenario. The ban is intact and we are running it back for 2025. Dallas Goedert is important to this offense, not just what he does in the pass game, but also the run game. If we would have went into this season tight end by committee, although Grant Calcaterra can catch and Harrison Bryant can block, you tip your hand in what you're trying to do per play as you sub in and out. Still, for him to take a $4 million pay cut shows how selfless he is and that he really wants to run it back, and he believes the Eagles give him the best opportunity. As I said on the live stream, the Denver Broncos gave 30-year-old Evan Ingram a 2-year, $23 million deal with 16.5 guaranteed. I think the whole world knows that Dallas Goedert is way more valuable than Evan Ingram. For anybody that really wanted to move on from Dallas Goedert, I just don't understand it. We don't got a tight end to replace him full time. Injuries aside, he's always available when we need him the most. And let's not forget how talented this offense was. Meanwhile, Dallas Goedert led all pass catchers in yards for the Eagles 2024 postseason. So honestly, this got to be the best move the Eagles made all offseason as it pertains to the offensive side of the ball, because there wasn't much we needed to do to fix, but maintaining it was important. Moving on to an Eagles newer addition who could find himself off the roster for a rookie. NFL analysts said we're going to start with a guy who wasn't on the roster last season but got picked up in the Kenny Pickett to the Browns trade, Beckman said. This is pretty cut and dry. DTR is not a good quarterback, and it will be easy for Kyle McCord, 6th rounder from Syracuse, to take the QB3 job. He continued to rave about quarterback Kyle McCord, saying he was ranked number 1 nationally in the regular season with 4,779 yards passing. As for touchdowns, he threw a lot of them too, 34 tubs and only 12 interceptions. He was also named second team All-ACC and was a finalist for the Manning Award. But that's not all. McCord finished 10th in the final Heisman Trophy voting. This represents the best finish for an Orange player since Dwight Freeney finished 9th in 2001. Now, I do agree that Kyle McCord is going to come in fighting for the QB3 spot, but I don't think that DTR is just a bad quarterback. I think he has potential. His skill set mirrors Jalen Hurts the most, and I think it's going to be a good competition. Although if I had to pick, I'd probably give the upper hand to Kyle McCord. But it's interesting. Why would Howie Roseman trade for Kenny Pickett just to give him up for DTR? I know we got some draft compensation as well. It's just a wild ride of quarterbacks. But the Eagles did have a lot of interest in Kyle McCord. He's a Philly native, Eagle fan, and the kid just got baller written all over him. At the end of the article, Beckman went as far as to say, could Kyle McCord push for quarterback 2 eventually? And I know what you're thinking, Philly. Oh, no. We not messing with Tanner McKee. And I absolutely agree with you. Although Kyle McCord's college career looks real nice and pretty, the NFL is different. And Tanner McKee, stats at Stanford don't got nothing on Kyle McCord doing it in the NFL as we seen him do for starters and backups and spot starts and preseason. Goes to show me that this kid is made for the NFL. Let me know in the comment section if you know more than me about Kyle McCord, because I'm still doing my due diligence. Do you think he has a chance to beat out Tanner McKee for QB2? Again, I'm going to have to say no, just based off the little bit I saw from Tanner McKee. And I love what he did against the Giants starters at the end of the season, capping it off with a win. Now, before we move over to our NFC East opponent, the Dallas Cowboys, who did make a blockbuster trade, although it could backfire, let's look at Jaylen Carter's new tattoos. The attention to detail has fans saying this is insane. The tattoo includes an eagle, a lion, a gorilla, and an angel, and a street sign for Griffin's General Store, a tribute to his hometown of Apopka, Florida. The eagle on the chest, though, is crazy. However, you know the Eagles are going to lock this guy up long term. He's ready to be in a city of brotherly love, winning multiple championships. This is all we can ask for. As for the Cowboys blockbuster trade, all I'm going to say is on paper, it looks good. Adam Schefter tweeted in the morning, ESPN sources, Dallas and Pittsburgh are working to finalize a trade that will send wide receiver George Pickens to the Cowboys in exchange for draft compensation. The trade is expected to be finalized today. Now, of course, this happened in the morning, so we found out exactly what the draft compensation is. The Cowboys get George Pickens and a 2026 sixth-round pick from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steelers receive a 2026 third-round pick and a 2026 fifth-round pick. That being said, again, going back to paper, this makes the Cowboys a better football team. Not better than the Eagles, but better in general, simply because you're giving CeeDee Lamb help, and it's not just low-key help. It's another number one wide receiver, which would put the Dallas Cowboys in the category of having a top 5 wide receiver duo, which the Eagles have been in for years. Some people might want to fight me on it and say Jamar Chase and T. Higgins is the number one, but I'll still take AJ and Smitty over any duo in the NFL. Going back to the Cowboys, I don't want to hear no more excuses for Dak Prescott. He has 2 number ones. They just upgraded the O-line, helped out their defense. As it pertains to the draft, I think in general, the whole NFC East drafted pretty well and made our teams better. Just that they're not catching up to the Eagles quite yet. They still got a ways to go. As for how it could backfire, well, George Pickens is a hothead. One thing we know about Mike Tomlin and the Steelers is that they get rid of wide receivers who cause problems in the locker room or just on the team in general. So you're telling me that Mike Tomlin and the Steelers couldn't control him, but Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys circus will? Mind you, they got a first-year head coach in Schottenheimer. He's not ready for what's about to go down. Again, on paper, George Pickens is talented, but the move could definitely have a backfire effect in the locker room if things don't go well. Soon-to-be Cowboys wide receiver George Pickens is heading into the last year of his contract and will want a new deal. His agent happens to be David Mulugheta, whose name Cowboy owner Jerry Jones said he did not know while talking about a new deal for Micah Parsons, another David M. client. It's a contract year. He's going to want his target so he can make his money. Is he going to be willing to play second fiddle to CeeDee Lamb? How will all that work out? I don't know. And I don't care at this point. The Dallas Cowboys got better, but they're not better than the Eagles. Jerry Jones got to worry about paying Micah Parsons and George Pickens now. And if he doesn't pay Pickens, then he gave up a third-round pick for a one-year rental. I'm going to say it one more time. If George Pickens can stay on the straight and narrow, that was a very good trade for the Cowboys. They got 2 number ones. They got better. Although the duo ain't as good as the Eagles duo, it still is top 5, top 3 duo in the league, potentially. I just don't want to hear all this, George Pickens is better than Devontae Smith. Or more importantly, Cowboy fans think that because they got 2 number ones now, we're not going to be able to guard them. Did they forget? The Eagles got 2 young CB ones, although one plays in the slot. CeeDee Lamb plays in the slot a little bit too. So I welcome the challenge of Quinyon Mitchell going against George Pickens, and whenever CeeDee Lamb falls into the slot, he goes against Cooper DeJean, and maybe Cooper DeJean can always shadow CeeDee Lamb and follow him for that game because the Eagles secondary is very versatile. At this point, all we could do is wait for football to come back. I'm glad the Cowboys are getting their hopes up because it's a bigger fall when we beat them back-to-back times in 2025 with Dak and all their weapons. With all that being said, I go by Philly Mike. This is the Philly Talk Podcast. Go check out the live stream we did this morning. A lot more Eagle news in there. Also, hit the like, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Short, quick video to touch up some of the things that we couldn't talk about in the live. But I love y'all to death. Muscle up. We out.